Hi, and welcome to my channel, Laura's Library Card. So today it is Monday. It is a little less warm than it has been, but I am home from work, and it was very much so a Monday. It was just a kind of Monday at work, but I'm home and I'm happy about that. And tonight I have book club with some of my friends, and we're going to be discussing The Baker and the Bard, which I read yesterday and talked about in last week's vlog. Before I head to book club, I'm going to be editing said vlog, but I wanted to let you know that I did actually start a book last night. So last night on Sunday, I started Part of Your World. Is that the first one? Yes, Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. And I got through the first 20%, first 19-20%. And so far I'm really liking it. It is cute. I'm liking the writing, the vibes. The vibes are there. I mean, it's clear that the main female character in particular has stuff going on, but so far I'm enjoying it. So our premise is that our main female character's name is Alexis?
Alexis, please, dear.
Alexis. And our main male character's name is Daniel, I think. I'm pretty sure. And basically she is sort of this, I wouldn't quite say hotshot doctor, but she comes from a prestigious family of doctors in the city, and she is driving home from a funeral through a little podunk town, like a full 2 hours away from where she lives in Minneapolis, and she has car trouble, and the guy who comes along to help her out is young and attractive, and he tows her out and is like, all right, toodaloo. And she ends up stopping at the bar down the road. I thought she had to pee, but it doesn't talk about that. Like, she just was hungry, and it was really foggy out, so anyway, she ends up going home with Daniel, who's the guy who towed her out of the car, even though she's 37 and he's 28, and that when she figures that out kind of throws her for a loop. But they end up having a one-night stand, and both of them thought that it was amazing, but she sneaks out in the wee hours of the morning. And there were some goofy, silly hijinks that happened with like a loose pig and the dog jumping up on her, etc. So Daniel is pretty sure that he's never going to hear from her again. But we have learned at this point in the first 20% of the book that Alexis has relatively recently gotten out of or gotten away from a guy who sounds like not only someone who cheated on her, but like an abusive partner. So I think she is starting to be vaguely, she's never done like casual relationships or casual sex or one night stands, but it was really good with Daniel. And the thing that I like most about them is that they laugh together. Like, not only do I think that the actual banter that I'm reading is vaguely amusing and smile inducing, but also like I'm really, really enjoying that the characters are like they're like, wow, we have this chemistry, and I feel like I can feel that, and they feel like they are trying to communicate, and I really like that. I really like seeing how these two are kind of bonding. So yeah, I got through the first 20%. I'm reading that digitally. I have the ebook checked out from the library, and it was on hold for a while, so I feel like I have to make an effort to really finish this before my hold expires, or my loan expires. My goodness, what's going on with all these birds, like right outside my window? Robins. There's like 7 robins right outside my window. I don't know what they're doing. So I don't know how much more I'm going to be able to do today reading wise, just because I'm going to work on editing this video, and then I have book club. I really have been enjoying Part of Your World, so I think I'm going to try to like pick that back up before bed, but it might be like a 20-page kind of thing. So there is your Monday update. If I remember, I will try to take some pictures of the food that we get when we meet up for book club, because it is very tasty. So there you go. Welcome to the start of a new vlog. Hi, hello. It is Tuesday afternoon. I'm home from work, working on dinner, which is good because I'm hangry. I just had a frustrating day at work and came home and just had to like vent it all out to Ben, who was very gracious in listening to me. An update reading wise. Let's see. Last night I tried to read a few more pages in On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. I made it through part 1. I think I'm on page like 75-ish. And I am not loving it. I have a book club tomorrow, and I am definitely not going to be able to finish it tonight. I probably honestly won't make any more effort. I don't think that this is just not a book for me working right now. I think that there are beautiful turns of phrases. I think there's stuff that could be said here, but it's just not working for me. And I already know that one of my other people in my book club is not going to finish it. So I think I'm going to DNF this for now. Might come back to it someday in the future, but like it's not going to be anytime soon. Otherwise, I had book club, which was fun and enjoyable, and I took 0 B-roll, but it was good to meet up with the gals and chit-chat and talk. We talked about the book not very much. It tends to be that when we don't really care for a book, we have a lot to say, but when we all are like, yeah, we liked it, or, summer's kind of busy, and so some of the people didn't even get a chance to read it, but it was fine. It was good food, good conversation, and that's sort of what counts. And then when I got home, I was just kind of like tired, and I was hanging out with Ben, so I really didn't do much more reading yesterday afternoon. Today, had a frustrating day at work, as I've already said, so I didn't have a ton of time, and so I basically had 2 chunks of time where I had an opportunity to listen to stuff. And in the morning, I was listening to Critical Role. We are in the thick of it. Fights are going down, drama's happening, it's high tension, it's good times. And then in the afternoon, when I had a little bit of time, I was like, no, I need to make an effort on reading. I haven't read anything for a hot second, by which I mean like 24 hours. So today I finally started the audiobook of The Roughest Draft, which I don't have in front of me, so I'll put a picture here. It has 2 authors with long names. I got through the first, I think, 10% of the audiobook here, and so far I'm liking it. I like that there are 2 narrators. Our 2 main characters seem to be a guy named Nathan and a woman named Katrina, I'm pretty sure. Basically all we know in the first 10% is that they used to work together. Something happened that made it, like, write together. They wrote a best-selling book together. They used to write together, wrote this best-selling book together, but like before that book was even published, they had already dissolved their working relationship. There are like maybe hints and undertones of like something important there more than friendship, but like that's not the situation that they had. And at this point in the book, it's been a couple years since they wrote that bestseller. And there are various people in their lives who are trying to get them to come together again. Like their publishing and agents and stuff are trying to get them to come together again to write another book, hopefully another bestseller. And all we know from both of their perspectives is like, that ain't happening. Something went down. Now, I understand why the book is structured this way. I understand why there needs to be conflict and resolution to make a book interesting. You need to like have conflict and then resolution. There needs to be tension, and then there needs to be a problem that then gets solved. And so I understand that as a source of tension in this book. However, I want there to be more tension. I don't super always love when we just like drag out the whole book of like, but something happened, but something happened, but something happened. Like, I really hope that we find out what that something is. And I am so much more interested. I personally am so much more interested in finding out how they are going to resolve those, like, the feelings and the resolution of like that situation. I want to see, I believe this is supposed to be a contemporary romance, and these 2 are going to fall in love throughout the course of the book. And I assume they're going to work together again. And so, like, to me, it's not going to be enjoyable at all to watch them just tiptoe around each other indefinitely while they're trying to work on this book together, this potential future work together. And so I really wish that they would just kind of like have some awkwardness, deal with whatever the situation is, and then sort of like work on getting to know each other and falling in love. I don't think that's how it's going to be. I think there's going to be tension, 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 and then like the third act drama is going to be the reveal to us, and they're going to have a big old blow up fight. Or maybe I'm wrong, but I don't want it to go that way. I want to know what the thing is between them, and then I want to see them work together on resolving that, and then have a believable relationship and romantic falling for you entanglement. I really hope they don't be like, oh my gosh, I've been in love this whole time. So we shall see. Those are a lot of thoughts and feelings for only the first 10%. But I'm intrigued. I like the writing style. So far, I'm enjoying it. I'm like, I also hope Katrina ditches this fiance/literary agent because like he kind of sucks right now. So yeah, we shall see how it goes. But I have finally started that buddy read. Wow, it's so much pinker, like in real life. The sky is just this like absolutely stunning. I don't know why it's so much like pinks and orange. It's gorgeous in real life. Hi, okay, quick Wednesday update, quick. I am doing okay. Had a okay day at work. I was listening to more Critical Role because it's good. We're at like a critical time. And I did make a little bit more progress in The Roughest Draft. I think I'm right at about 40%, and like it's perfectly fine. We are still following this structure the way that it's set up to have the big mysterious like thing that happened in the past, and it's starting to get a little bit annoying. Like I said in a previous clip, I just prefer for them to like address it and then move on. At this point I don't want to like talk too much more about the plot, but overall I think it's fine. I'm enjoying it. I think the writing is perfectly fine. I think the characterization is okay. I feel like it's very like consistent, which is good. I don't know that I really care very much for either of these characters, but I don't know. It's just very like middle of the road right now. So yeah, I'm hopeful that I can finish that by the end of the week. I would love to finish it tomorrow, but it probably won't happen just because of my schedule and stuff. But I do intend to use that for the next leg of the race for the Amazing Readathon, which dropped today. Auckland, I think is what it was. And the prompt is to read a book that has water on the cover. So this has a pool, and that's what I'm going to use for it. A couple quick tidy up heads up for you and your information. I had book club today after work, and we discussed On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. Even though I only ever got to page like 75, I finished part 1 of 3 of that book, and the writing was not something that my brain was wanting to work through right now. And Ben is streaming and he's having a good time. Sorry. So I basically have sort of soft DNF that. It's also not the most lighthearted and easy material to get through. So I have temporarily, for now, set down On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous and may pick it up sometime again in an unknown future. I also have decided essentially to basically DNF The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels. It hadn't really grabbed my interest at the start. I hadn't realized that it was 100% mixed media, and I definitely would want the physical copy for that, and I decided I needed to return it to the library so that other people could enjoy it. I don't know. I like mysteries, but that one just had not grabbed my attention in the first like 50 pages, so life's too short. I returned it. I might pick it up again someday, I suppose, if it got a ton of buzz, but didn't feel like I was really missing out on that. I have the ebook for Part of Your World going, and haven't had a chance to read it for a couple days, but that's what I'm going to work on right now, and I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying the writing and the characterization and the sort of banter and the interactions between our two characters. So I'm trying to not be reading 15 things all at once, and so that's why I'm choosing to DNF things and set them aside. And yeah, that's a quick hot take update. And there we go. Happy Wednesday. Hi, okay, so you are getting a quick early morning update because I had a lot of thoughts about The Roughest Draft overnight. I talked to my friend yesterday and asked the person I'm supposed to be buddy reading this with, and said, how's your progress? And she said, ooh, actually, I have decided to DNF it. She said she got to 50% and that she wasn't liking the characters. and certainly was not liking the fiance. So she just kind of like shrugged and was like, so I'm not gonna finish it. And honestly, like my brain kind of in that moment was thinking, oh, okay, well, if the assignment is canceled, don't finish it. Which is maybe not the like best mindset to have. But I've given it a little bit more thought, and I haven't quite decided for sure what I want to do, because all of my previous updates have been still true and accurate. In that, I think so far my experience has been very like middle, good, fine, like not objectionable, but also not like, oh my God, I'm loving it. And so part of me is kind of like, yeah, like why continue with like she and I are not going to have another conversation about this book. So like, is there a point in me trying to finish it? Like, is there a point in me finishing it? Like if like there's many more books out there that are potentially better than just good, fair, middle, you know? So I don't know. I haven't really decided. I think part of it is, you know, is that my friend is not reading it, and so therefore I don't feel like I have to anymore. But also part of it is that, like, you know, I still feel annoyed with the construction of the book, which is something I think I mentioned earlier, where I understand that the structure of the book has been set up so that the like big inciting incident of whatever went down in the past, I think at this point, I'm 40% of the way through, I think that is going to be like a big reveal in the book, and is going to be a big, like maybe even like the third act conflict. And it's just, you know, I think that personally I find it kind of annoying and frustrating to read what is probably going to end up being 60+% of a book where everyone is just being like, the thing that we're not talking about, that thing we're not talking about, but constantly is the elephant in the room, right? And so, you know, as a structure, not a huge fan. And, you know, the characters I think are perfectly like mid. Obviously, I also don't like her fiance. And I don't know, I'm feeling kind of lackluster about the structure of the book. And by this point, like it was after the first 20%. There started to be this, like once the two characters have agreed to write a new book together, despite whatever happened in the past, they go off on a retreat together to try to bang out this book in the last, you know, in like a couple months. And because they're in a space where they have worked together before in this like writing retreat in Florida, the book is now doing flashback scenes where it's like, well, this is how we were together a few years ago. And like, that's to juxtapose how they are now, which is actually really parallel to like the meta conversations that they're having about the book that they're writing. Anyway, to me, it feels like they were already into each other in the past, even though both of them in the past were like, oh no, like he's married, like there's nothing romantic here. And I'm just like, okay. And I feel like it's going to be leading up to, like, okay, if the inciting incident, that's the only thing that is really keeping me hooked, right? It like, there's no more assignment part of this book because my friend's not buddy reading it anymore. The only thing that's kind of keeping me hooked at all is kind of like, so what drew you guys apart? Because in my opinion, that is going to kind of like make or break this book. Because if the thing that was a problem between them, if it was like one thing that really just could have like been dealt with and been moved on from and whatever, like that'll feel really unsatisfying. If it was a really, really big deal and it makes sense as to why they haven't spoken in 4 years, like I will feel like there needs to be a lot of handling and resolution of that in this book in current time for that to make any sense to get past. If it turns out that the inciting incident was like that they had a moment or they had sex or something, then I'm just going to be so annoyed because these people are like, I guess I don't actually know exactly how old they are. I think they're supposed to be like 30. So they were like mid-20s when this happened. I don't know. I just like, I do kind of want to keep reading it because I want to know what that incident is. But I don't believe that our two characters in the present can get all the way to the I love you stage, like in this book. Like they have so much stuff in the past to resolve, and they're not talking about it. And they're finally starting to be a little bit honest with each other at the 40% mark in the present time. But like, I just don't feel like, and also if they do the like, oh, we've actually been in love this whole time, like for the entirety, like, you know, for 4 years plus whatever was before that, like, it's just not going to feel satisfying at all. So I I don't know. I kind of want to know what's going to happen, but also I'm concerned that it's going to suck. So there's my very long, rambly, yes, I thought about this, but I don't know how I feel or think. Today at work, I'm going to try to listen to the audiobook, and I think I'm going to try to bump up the speed a bit and see if I can get a little bit further through. And if I am still not super into it, or if I haven't gotten through a huge significant chunk by the end of the day today, I'm just gonna like go on Goodreads and try to find a spoiler review and just kind of call it done. I think I need to double check the rules, but I think that if I finish at least 51% of the book, more than half, I can potentially use it for a prompt for the Amazing Readathon, which would be nice because then I could DNF it but still count it for the leg of the race. You obviously don't get the full page count if you do that, but like, I don't really care. So I have to double check those rules. I will fill you in after work. I'm gotta go. And that's my morning ramble. Hi. Okay. So new angle, new lighting. That's not amazing. Hello. It is Friday afternoon. I am home from work. Thank goodness. I'm so glad the work week is done. Just long, frustrating problems, fun times. But yeah, so I didn't really give much of an update later in the day yesterday on Thursday. That is because work kind of sucked and I was listening to Critical Role, listening to music, and didn't really listen to very much of, oh no, that's not true. Okay, so yesterday I literally just read the last like chunk, like 8% or whatever I needed to read to get to like 51 or 2% of the audiobook of The Roughest Draft, and I went ahead and decided to DNF it. I think by this point there's been sort of like reveals or discussion about how our at least our main female character, like at one point had feelings for a main male character, but like that was years ago. And I really feel like all of the predictions that I made earlier probably are going to come true. I'm not like so terribly invested in the characters or their story to want to feel like I need to know what happened exactly. I have not yet looked at any Goodreads reviews or anything to see if I can find the spoiler of like what actually did happen. I might still do that. So at the moment that I'm talking to you, it's a DNF. Because I haven't thought about it at all since yesterday when that happened. And then I didn't get a chance to do anything further yesterday. And, that's that. And then today at work, I was like shocked. Like I did not get good sleep last night. And so I was just like putting 100% of any effort that I had, any consciousness that I had to go to my job. So I was like listening to music, not listening to any audiobook or anything. And that's where we're at. So now that I'm home, don't know exactly what my evening plans are going to be. I might end up like meeting up with a friend or something. I'm waiting for her to message me back. But right now, as soon as I'm done hitting record or, hitting stop on this clip, I'm going to go and work on making more progress in, what is it called? in Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, which I'm really enjoying. I haven't been able to make any progress in the last like 2 or 3 days, honestly, just because I've had other stuff going on and I have not been in like the best mental headspace to just like read. I'm a little concerned that I'm like starting to kind of like fizzle out here at the end of the month, but today is Friday the 28th? 29th? Yeah, Friday the 29th. Sorry, I was looking at my clock here and it says that it's 4 a.m. on Saturday. So like had a second of thinking like, oh, it's the 29th. But no, we have Saturday and Sunday as the last 2 days of June. And I think that we still have one more leg of the race to finish, but I'm going to be using The Roughest Draft for my Auckland leg of the race because even if you finish 51% of the book, you can count it for, okay, cat using the scratch post. But yeah, so maybe something has dropped in the last couple of hours. I haven't really checked, but I feel like I have reached the end of my workday on Friday. And so now it's time to like turn the brain off. Everything I do for the next like 36 to 48 hours is going to be not making decisions and not being stressed out. My intention is to relax, have fun, do reading that I want to do. And I'm going to try to enjoy my weekend. So there's your update and I'll see you in a second. Hi, hello. Okay, so it is time for an Amazing Readathon update. So I'm not sure how far to back up. I think I've talked to you about the 8th leg of the race. The 8th leg of the race was Bangkok. The prompt was read a book with 5 colors on the cover. I was able to just immediately satisfy that prompt by using Funny Story by Emily Henry, which I'd already finished a couple days before that prompt dropped. Done. Great. I was just kind of like waiting around for the next leg. The 9th leg of the race was to go to Auckland, New Zealand. And this prompt was to read a book that had water on the cover. And I was like, great, I've already started The Roughest Draft by Emily Wibberly and Austin Siegemund-Broka. And I was doing that as a buddy read. And then you've already heard clips in here about how I wasn't liking it and how I have decided to DNF it. And I got to I finished the end of a chapter. So yesterday I read and I realized it was actually technically, according to the audiobook, at 49% or something like that. And I was like, well, you got to read more than 50%. So I read one more chapter and it sort of confirmed that I don't want to keep reading it. And so I DNF'd it at 52% so I could use it for the 9th leg of the race. So I used The Roughest Draft to satisfy Auckland. I only get to count that percent of pages. So it was 165 pages. And I was using that and I was putting in, so I've been entering stuff today, but the last leg of the race has dropped. And so the last leg of the race is Los Angeles, and the prompt is to read a book that you would like to see made into an adaptation, you would like to see adapted. And so I was looking at how much currency I had left for the last 2 legs of the race, because that would kind of determine how I traveled to Auckland, because I hadn't submitted those points yet. And I have exactly the right amount of points to take the plane, the best option for both of these legs of travels, because I read some host favorites earlier in the month. So I was like, okay, cool. So even though I DNF The Roughest Draft and therefore didn't get the full book page count, because I was able to double that page count because I was taking the plane, I still feel I'm good for me. I was still able to count it for 380 points. So I just did all of that. I just submitted The Roughest Draft as my 9th prompt. That's in, that's done. I have counted off my expenses for that trip. And so I have a current balance of 900 currency left, and the 10th leg of the trip, if I take the plane option, will only cost $850. So I'll actually have 50 extra bucks. And the downside, so also side note, at the end of the 9th leg of the race, the team romance was in last place. And so if you're in last place in the race, then you get a challenge that will make it potentially harder for you to do the next leg of the race. We've been very in the middle for every leg, and we were first one leg. So I know there's 5 or 6 teams, but I really hope there's no team out there that's been getting last place really consistently, because this challenge was that for the last leg of the race, for this next leg, the book title cannot have a, an, or the in the title. And so I had a half second of ooh, that's going to be tough, until I realized that I was already a good chunk of the way into part of your world. Thank goodness "of" was not one of those words, because I am really enjoying Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. So, and I think that's a contemporary romance. It would be so fun. The book is better than Hallmark, but I think that this could be this is very Hallmark. She's a big shot doctor. He's a small town, jack of all trades, mayor type guy. I feel that Hallmark movie probably already exists. So I think that this could be a good adaptation. I suppose I'd better double check that it's not already being adapted, but I don't think it is. But I'll double check that. But if it's not already an adaptation in the works, then I'm going to use that for the last leg of the race, which will work out great because I have enough currency to fly and I can get the most bang for the most buck here in the last leg of the race. And also I'm already partway into this book, and so I can knock it out probably today. I don't really have very much going on. This is the weekend. It's Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow I have D&D for a couple hours, and tonight I don't know. There was something that we were going to maybe do, but I think we're going to cancel it. So I have a good chunk of time. I certainly have the next 4 hours where I have nothing going on. So yeah, I think I can finish Part of Your World. I'll submit it for the 10th leg of the race. That will mean that I completed the Amazing Readathon, have achieved all, have made it to the final stop being Los Angeles. And there is one book that I have been holding on to since last weekend, The Baker and the Bard by Fern, Haught, which I read for a book club earlier this week. I am going to choose to use that for a sightseeing prompt. Now, I have to finish the book and use it for LA before I can, count this as a sightseeing prompt. So I have to make sure I finish that. But if I finish Part of Your World today, then I have Sunday. I have the last day of June to like read anything I want for sightseeing. So I don't know, maybe I'll like get some like manga or something out from the library and or something short. Maybe I could read the third book in the After the Plague series or something short, like a little novella, just to get some sightseeing prompts done and like a few extra points and feel really awesome. Also, whatever next book I finish will be the 19th book that I will have finished this month, which is like really good for me. And part of me feels like if I could finish 20 books in this month, that would be like really cool. So I don't know. We'll see. Like, I want to get to like Pucking Wild, but that's not going to happen. That's like 600 pages. So we shall see. I just wanted to give you an Amazing Readathon update and kind of demonstrate and show that I am very pleased and excited that everything worked out. I read enough host favorites earlier in the month to be able to earn enough currency to be able to take the plane for the last couple of legs and not have to worry about how I wouldn't have enough currency to finish the whole race. And I'm very proud of myself for like doing multiple books during Face Off weekend and being able to finish every single leg of the race. I mean, I guess I shouldn't speak too soon, but it's looking pretty good. And also have a couple sightseeing prompts. I don't have a ton. Let me go to the sightseeing tab. So far, I have submitted 3 titles that are a novella and 2 manga for sightseeing. And then I have one more that is a graphic novel that I'm intending to finish. And maybe tomorrow I'll even have one more after that. That would be kind of cool too. Then it would be 5 sightseeing and it'd be like nice round numbers. That sounded pretty good. So yeah, there's my Amazing Readathon update, and I will keep you posted as to when I finish Part of Your World, because I'm really, really enjoying it. Hi, hello. It is Saturday evening, and I have finished my book. I have finished Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, and I really liked it. I liked the whole thing. It was very swoony. It was very emotional and evocative. It was not like terribly sexy or smutty. There were some like heated moments, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I felt like like I said, I feel like the romance was swoony. I feel like Daniel was swoony. I feel like the romance between them, there were so many moments of like connection and laughter and banter and communication. There was definitely plenty of time when when we are told the characters are talking and are connecting, and like we don't have to see hours and hours of phone conversation on page to understand that these characters are talking to each other. And it just felt really believable that they would fall for each other this way. So that was like my favorite part. That's like one of the things that I love the most, is to watch there be emotional development and watch people fall in love. So that book had this in spades, and there were plenty of, I laughed out loud like 3 or 4 times. There were just certain little quippy moments that grabbed me. I feel like the very end was, I don't want to say a letdown, but sort of like everything gets wrapped up in a perfect bow. And like, I don't know, I wanted there to be, especially with her parents, like there's a big moment and her parents just kind of like go with it. And I'm like, no. But it was cute. It was sweet. I enjoyed it. 5 stars. I definitely can't wait to read the next Abby Jimenez, read something else by this author, because I loved this one. So I'm really hopeful that this is sort of like part of a trilogy. I am very sure. I mean, I haven't even looked, but if the main female character, Alexis's best friend Bree, doesn't have a book, like, what? So I'm pretty sure she's one of the characters in one of these future books. But yeah, I just enjoyed the whole thing. There's also a touch, just a hint, the barest little hint of like a magical realism kind of element, and I thought that was super fun too. So can't say more about this book, or I mean, I could say plenty more about this book and just gush about it, but I'm going to end this clip here. And this is the last book that I needed for the Amazing Readathon, and I will be able to, I'm gonna go and start uploading this clip, and I'm going to submit the points so that I can arrive in Los Angeles and use Part of Your World for the last leg of the race. And then today is Saturday. I don't really know. Ben should be getting home from work like any minute now. I don't know what his plans are, but I'd like to kind of hang out with him and take things easy. I have a couple quick little novellas on my Kindle. I might start something there just to see if I can like squeak through one more sightseeing prompt. But yeah, so there is all of my like love and feelings and swoon for Part of Your World. Hello, I'm here to finish out the vlog because today is Sunday, June 30th, and it is the official last day of the Amazing Readathon. It is the last day of the month. It is the last day of the week that I, Monday through Sundays when I finish this vlog. Time to wrap things up. I think last night I filmed a clip where I kind of gushed a bit about finishing Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, and that, yes, was the last book for the legs of the Amazing Readathon. I completed all 10 legs of the race, and I am proud of myself because I didn't think that I was going to be able to do that. I guess technically I didn't finish all 10 of those books because I used a DNF for like 9, but that's okay. That's okay. That book, the Part of Your World, was the 19th book of the month that I had actually finished, and then today on Sunday I read one more book for a sightseeing prompt, and that was The Exception to the Rule by Christina Lauren. This was fun. It was cute. It's either like a long short story or a short novella. I think actual content wise, if you took out some of the formatting, it would be probably closer to a short story because a huge chunk of this book is mixed media in that our characters are emailing each other back and forth. And so the to and from and subject and all that like takes up a lot of space. But basically the premise of this book is that our two main characters, Tara and Callum, they start messaging each other. It's a accidental email, typo in the sender address, and that happens on a Valentine's Day. And so every year on Valentine's Day, these two are anonymously emailing each other, and they don't actually know who the other person really is. And over the course of like 9 or 10 years, they keep up this tradition of emailing every year on Valentine's Day and kind of slowly start to get to know each other. They still don't know exactly who the other person is. They just use their first initials, and the only thing they really know is that they're from the same hometown. But they share important details of their lives about how hard college is, and family drama and family loss, and they have this connection, and then ultimately they eventually meet when they are both adults and in college or in grad school, and kind of have this adorable meet cute, figure out who the other person is, fall in love kind of situation. So it was cute. It was very quick. I was able to, as long as I remembered who was like replying to whom, I could just skip all of the part that says like to email address, from email address, subject, I just kind of skipped through that part. So it went by very fast, and I thought it was perfectly cute. I would have liked a little bit more like emotional development, the idea of being like, wow, I think I really like this guy who I've emailed 3 emails a year for over 10 years. Like, I don't know, whatever. It's fine. It was cute. It was a good start for a short story. It was adorable. I liked our main characters. They both seemed nice, and it was good for what it was. And I was able to use this for a 400-point sightseeing prompt, which was a read a book by 2 or more authors, and Christina Lauren are 2 different authors who co-write together. So yes, and that's where I'm going to end this vlog, and that's where I'm going to end the Amazing Readathon, and that's going to be all the reading I do in June. If I start a book later today, it's because I'm going to start prepping for the Tarot Readathon in the month of July, but I'm not going to be able to finish any books in the last few hours of today and ending on 20 finished books for the month is a nice round number that I'm happy with. So there you go. That's a update for the Amazing Readathon. I ultimately finished 20 books in the month of June, and I took a bunch of things that I had been currently reading and officially marked them as DNF. I finished all 10 legs of the race for the Amazing Readathon. I read and submitted 5 different books for sightseeing prompts. I participated in the face-off weekend. I think I finished 6 books that weekend. And if you're like, well, Laura, 5 plus 6 plus 10 is 21. It's because one of the legs of the race I used a book that I DNF'd. So that's the stats, quick lowdown. I will tune back in with you next week when I'm starting July and the Tarot Readathon. Later today, I'm going to do my first pull of a tarot card and kind of see. I probably will pull 2 or 3 just to kind of see what prompts I get and where the inspiration strikes. I'm going to try to take July pretty chill. I know the Tarot Readathon is a competitive team-based readathon as well, but I really want to allow the tarot cards to give me that mood reader feeling, especially here at the last week of June. I needed to take a little bit of like a slowdown. So that's the situation. Thanks so much for sticking around, and it was a whirlwind of a month, and let me know down in the comments if you have made it this far what your favorite book that you read in June was, and if you're going to be participating in the Tarot Readathon, what team you're on. So thanks so much for listening, and I will see you next time. Bye.